Okay, hello Jake. This is Enragement Child. Um, I'm not very sure if you've heard my voice before. Anyhow, here's my story. I, it started when I was 14 years old. I went to, a doctor named Dr. Ashrita Patel, who is my, full-time family doctor and a rather close friend to my family for decades now. She has treated 4 different generations of my family, or rather 3. My grandfather, my father, and now me. She used to also treat my older sister, so perhaps that is 4 different generations, perhaps 5. I think my older sister might have gone there a couple times. Anyway, that is beyond the point. I I started my antidepressant journey, let's see, 7 years ago actually. I'm going to be 21 this June. Um, so it started out with 10 milligrams of paroxetine, and paroxetine, she said, was the strongest SSRI, and she said she think it would be best for me, considering how potent and effective it may be. And she was very scared about the risks of suicide, and she said Paxil tends to have a low suicide risk. So I tried 10 milligrams, and it was making me manic. Let's see, after that, trying to think in order here. I'm pretty sure it was Effexor next, then Wellbutrin. Yes, that is the order. Effexor, then Wellbutrin. Later on, we've tried Cymbalta, since she had noticed my mania, and she would tell me. Therefore, she told me that Cymbalta was the SNRI that was most closely related to the AAPs. So she put me on 60 milligrams and later 120, and it actually worked like decent. As did the Effexor, though the Effexor made me quite fat, though I was happy and more stable. And despite all that, I didn't quite like it, because first she just started me out on the venlafaxine tablets, and they would make me very sick every time I took them. So then she switched me over to the extended release, and that worked better, though it was the lowest possible dose, the 35 or whatever. And I'm unsure if I should have gone up or not, but I'm sort of glad I did not. I would probably be over 250 pounds by now had I not stopped, considering I was 194 at the peak of my weight, and I should be 150 or lower, preferably 120 to 135, but 150 should be my maximum, which actually, since beginning Noddle, I have been less hungry even when I smoke heavily. I do smoke a considerate amount of marijuana each day, at least 2 grams to 1/8 a day. Pretty heavy smoker there, and Oh yeah, I also tried mirtazapine, which made me eat like a raging dumpster. And I don't remember if I had gained weight because I was only on it for a month. And I do remember crying quite a bit. My my aunt saw how upset I was, and she was cleaning out my eyes with her thumbs and kissing me on the forehead and telling me that I should either continue with the medicine and like put up with the negative side effects and wait for it to work, or that I should just keep trying. So I kept on trying, throwing the mirtazapine in the garbage. And then after doing so, it sort of becomes a blur. No, I went back to Cymbalta. And I was back on Cymbalta for the longest time. Quite a few months actually, until one day I was just very sick and tired of always beating myself up. So I decided to do something about it. And I found a psychiatric office that was able to take my Medicaid. And it turns out that the first place I called had not accepted Medicaid, but they forwarded me to a place in Hinsdale, Illinois, which would. And there is where I found the Laura Greco character. And at first things were going okay. She seemed pleasant enough, and she hadn't revealed her true colors. But once I noticed how she's very, very persistent, and she likes to pick out flaws and harp on her weird ideas, I began feeling very uncomfortable with her. I mean, the only decent thing she prescribed was probably the Lamictal, but now I realize how much I just don't like it, and it's probably not doing a damn thing. Because before I was just so bogged down and confused. I'm like, how do I even know these pills are working? I feel the same, just slightly revved up. Is this what they're supposed to do? Do I wait longer? Do I take more? Do I augment? So at first I thought that, antidepressants are just very minor, and they just do little personality changes in hopes of fixing you. But now that I'm on a real drug, I know that they're not supposed to change like who or what you are. They're mainly just supposed to be there to lift you up. And the other ones were just hiding and masking my emotions, save for like the Cymbalta. I mean, if I was forced to be on an SSRI once more, I would have to go with the Cymbalta, as I felt like it was not controlling me nearly as much. I felt more my own person, despite still being very emo or even goth-like, I suppose. And I don't know. I know it's not my fault, and it's certainly not my GP's fault because she was doing her best. Whereas with the other psychiatrists, I've always run into some sort of a scrap or a problem. Whereas with Dr. Rashruta, she she does not pick arguments. I mean, she will get stern and she will scold, and she gets annoyed with me for not being the quickest on getting professional treatment. Though she does care, and she's never gotten mean with me. She has always been very civil and almost on the motherly side. So I'm hoping one day she could just be my psychiatrist, and that maybe I could convince her that allowing me to do self-treatment with some monitoring will actually work. I was also on Topamax and gabapentin, as well as Wellbutrin, and I'm mostly sure some other type of off-label mood stabilizer. Though, whatever it may be, it certainly didn't work. Though I feel like the Topamax is doing something, most certainly. My legs and arms were starting to tingle quite annoyingly. And I did feel, I guess, a little more dull. I thought it would sort of be like, since it's an actual pain medication, I thought it would be more instant. I thought it would sort of be like the Valium that I take, where I would take the topiramate and start feeling good, which is part of why I asked for it. Not that I was looking for an instant cure for happiness, but I was hoping for something that would work quickly and get me functioning. And it did something like that when I was on the Cymbalta along with it, though the tingly limbs and still being mood swingy was my ultimate downfall. So she took off all the extra little mood stabilizers she had put on there to keep me from going all over the place, and I was just on the Cymbalta, and I was struggling for the longest time. I hadn't gone to school. I hadn't gotten a job, really. The one job I did have, I ended up quitting because I had quite a major panic attack during work, and I was asked politely to please leave, and then they asked me if I wished to quit, and I told them yes, and I felt incredibly useless and like it was a failure because I had quit without even giving them a 2 weeks notice. So now I can never be hired by them once more. Anyhow, I'm probably rambling at this point, and you probably don't want to listen to me go on for a quarter of an hour telling you my whole life story in this weird accent that I have. So I'll let you listen to this and be the judge for yourself. Sorry if it's a bit disjointed. I am thinking about a lot right now, as you may be able to tell. I need to figure out this situation, and I am rather tired. So, thank you. Namaste, I suppose, as they say it. And, I do hope you can help me. And, on an off note, please do enjoy the nitro. I don't know, like, what it could be used for on the server, though I hope it does come in some use to you.